Hello everyone, we're back. This is going to be my third stream today. I'm actually having a blast doing that. It's a lot of fun. Somewhat trying to be a little bit more proactive with those streams. Yeah, so just like the ones before, I'm going to be working on this project of this new, let's call it composition software. We're doing this algorithmic composition software that is built like a functional programming language of sorts, but is actually a visual music composition app. And yeah, I'm just going to be diving right into it. I will just say before I start, like I usually say, first of all, if you like this, I don't know where you're watching this, but you could be watching this on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, and one other place that I forgot. If you wanna, if you're watching this, especially on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, subscribe. LinkedIn, also streaming there as well. That will be cool. And I'm going to be starting. Let's get into it. Let's bring up my screen. The one last thing I want to say, if you have questions about what I'm doing, I'm going to be mostly diving into code. But if there's something that you want to know more about, definitely let me know in the comments. I will post those and pass those to the other networks as well, so we can chat about it. Okay, here we go. So quick recap. I'll show a little bit of where the project is at right now. Hello to you too. Hello to you too. I am determined to make some real progress with this, and I was on the previous couple of streams. So I thought that maybe we should be capitalizing on it and make it good. So Miguel asks, I showed this on screen. Miguel on YouTube asks, hi Eyal, where, when did you learn C++? So I learned C++, was about 8-9 years ago, now I think maybe a bit more. I learned C++ when I was doing all kinds of projects for Waves, but not as a coder. For a little while I was doing some marketing for them, like I was doing producing videos and stuff, and I was always very interested in tech, and in music tech and music software and plugins and all that. So I was doing this kind of marketing work for them. Just touching the music a little bit down. Hopefully, by the way, the balance is okay. I have no idea what you guys are hearing when I talk, so hopefully it's gonna be okay. Yeah, so anyway, I was doing all these projects with them, and they came up with an idea. They knew I had product ideas, and I was interested in that. And they came up with this idea to me that said, hey, can you help us come up with a new instrument idea, basically. And I said, yeah, I have all these ideas, this idea, this idea, this idea. And one thing that happened is that I think that was 2015, 15-ish. They they I suggested to them this idea that we do this bass plugin that has some smart logic, like musical logic, inside of the plugin. And they said, "Great, we like it, good idea." And Or Lubyanikar, who's my partner in Modalics, but also used to be my bandmate in Project RNL. So he and I started to make the samples for the plugin and all that. And we were, and Waves basically told me, they said, "Hey, we're not sure if we have anybody on staff that can do this musical logic thing. Like, we have all these DSP people, but none of them understands exactly what does it mean to do this musical logic. Like, we had this idea that the instrument would keep state and behave a certain way according to where things are on the neck." And they told me, like, "Hey, no one here will know how to do this." This was Amir Vinci, who back then was the head of product at Waves. And we were looking for a programmer for a while, and like kind of searching. I was even suggesting a few names, and we couldn't find anyone. And I eventually said, "Hey, this is, by the way, happens as we were developing, the samples and the ideas and kind of prototyping the UI." Someone, I said, "Hey, I think, by then we wrote like the product definition book, Or and I, about how this would work." And I said, "Hey, maybe I can do this, just how hard could this be? Programming, come on, it's easy." No, but I just said, "Hey, I think I can, if I can define this on a piece of paper, I can probably define this on a computer." And I just asked them plain, like, "Hey, which language are you using?" And they're like, "C++. Like, "Sure, C++, no problem." And then basically from that moment on, I spent every second learning C++. And I find out that I really liked it, so I was getting obsessed. Like, I was literally reading everything that I could. Remember, this is 2015, so there's not a lot of materials on the internet, even though there were some. Like, there was some YouTube videos, but not close to what you have right now. Like, so I had to be searching for every YouTube thing. I bought a few books, like physical books. I was trying to look for information wherever I could, but I was basically just learning C++ from morning to evening. And this wasn't even like using Juice or any library like that. I was using things that are much less, documented from whatever Waves gave me to do. So I had to learn the stuff, the system that Waves were using and all that. So that's really how I got to it. So hopefully the story makes sense. All right. It's so interesting, the jump from music to computer science. You know what? This is going to be some personal thing. I don't know if it makes sense for everybody, but I was always fascinated by tech, right? Like, if you see YouTube videos that I've made in 2010, you'll see that I was already trying to, find cool things to play that are, technological. I was one of the first people making music with iPads. This is the first iPad in 2010. I was always into these, and I was always trying to kind of hook up with like these tech companies, and I think really I probably wanted to program for many years, and I was scared that I couldn't do it. I thought it would be too difficult, and when I started to do it, then I was like, oh, it's not too difficult. It was very difficult, but I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I can just put in the work, and figure it out. So I'm really helpful or thankful that I was able to do that. All right, glad I could help. Okay, so back to what I'm doing. So let's just show you a cue. I know this is my current prototype looks pretty bad. because this is very pretty raw. But I'm determined to make this good in a few days. Not perfect, but within a few days, like put in a lot of what's needed for this to be more of a product. So the idea is that this prototype currently just shows a few things that this can do, but the idea is that this is built like a chain of functions, right? You can see here I have let's imagine this is a piano roll, right? Like a piece of music, 4 notes, and then I pass it through an effect. It's like a transpose. The transpose will take an input from the music and from this integer. I have this number called 3. I could put in some other number like 5, right? 12, and it's going to evaluate transpose with this. And transpose is pretty simple, but we can also do something like let's take something like a append. Append means put one thing after the other. So I can connect the output of the transpose, and then I can connect the output of the transpose again, or maybe the original. Let's connect the original, right? So I created longer music, and I can add another append to append the previous append and the transpose, right? So, and then I can create yet another one, right, to add the this one and this one, right? So this is how you can create like very kind of rules into the music. These are very probably the simplest things you can do in the language. There's quite a lot more that you'll be able to do once I start to put in more devices. But the idea is that you can create these, and then which is probably the part I'll work on today, you also need to define this block as a function and reuse that. So it kind of explodes recursively. You'll see very soon when I start to, I don't know if on this stream, but on the following stream, you will see how the system will kind of blow up. Pretty soon you can, kind of chain this, decide that this is a function, and then reuse this function in another chain. And immediately you can pass 3 notes and get music of 3 minutes music by rules of developing. So yeah, so there's abstraction layers. Yeah, so you're gonna be able to be able to write like sort of something like abstraction layers, and it's okay. Noam says, Eyal, it's 2:12. Go to sleep, but it's actually not 2:12 here. Where I am, it's 4 p.m. So for me, it's a totally normal hour to to be awake and work on something like that. Even though I've been probably streaming here since 4 a.m. So I don't know if it's if any kind of normal schedule applies to the way that I've been living, but yeah. But I'm kind of determined to make this great. So yeah. So I'm doing it whether society approves or not. I would say this. So even though this looks like a chain of effects, you will see pretty soon that this can do way more than effects. Like there's even though you can look at some of these, some of these are pretty plain, like a transpose, append, those are straightforward. Very soon you'll see that we can create all these meta functions where you can pass a device into the function, and it will blow up. These are things that I've tested kind of, in isolation from the code. I kind of tested these as an idea, but now that I'm writing a real implementation, I want to do this properly. So things might take a little while, but yeah. So this is the idea. So it could do quite a lot of cool things. It's not going to look like that though. I have there's designs, or was on the stream I think yesterday. It showed some of the designs. So this is just my dev prototype where I put in functionality. But yeah, so the thing I need to do today, I need to fix quite a few things here that are pretty basic. The first thing I need to do is, you see there's this thing called the inputs. This thing does not work correctly. So I will need to do that. So I have to define an inputs for the function, and if I'll get to that, I want to do the flow of creating a custom function. So this whole thing will just be one block, and then you can add others and connect them to one another. So the question is, can it run John Conway's Game of Life? I mean, maybe it could. One of the things we were trying to do with this thing is that it's not going to be like a Turing complete language, at least at first. So we're trying to keep like the use cases focused on, musical things, but you could also do, eventually you should also be able to do a bit of math here. So maybe you could do the game of life in some way or another. Okay, so now that we're done with the crappy demo, let's get to work. Let's try to describe what it is I need to do. So the question is, do you outsource the design or leave it raw? I don't outsource the design. My partner Orlo Bianiker is designing it, but he didn't design the things that you just seen. He's designing it in Figma now. He works on it in a design software, and we're kind of collaborating every day to make sure that functionality will eventually be able to look like the design. Maybe I can go to see some of his designs. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can show you a little bit of what he's been doing. I probably don't even have all these sketches, but I probably have some. Yeah, so here's Or's unbelievable tree of things. I'm not sure if I can even navigate myself in this. It's huge, but you'll see that he would. Keep looking out on the. Okay. Yeah, so he does many different screens that are initial, and then he went forward into things that look like this, and then over time I think he keeps developing it. I think now we have all kinds of things that looks like this, right? All these like different blocks, and there's more, right? And there's stuff like this. Now we're talking about these more complicated blocks, right? And there's stuff now like this, right? It looks more organized. So yeah, this is none of this is the final design. These are all basically just wireframes, right? Where we're trying to describe the functionality, and we're trying to describe the basics of how you would look at this. There's something we always want to do is to incorporate this like a preview of a piano roll. Yeah, so I don't want to go too much into into Or's designs, because he knows exactly what's going on. I don't even know what's going on in a lot of these. He's still developing them, just like I'm here in a pool of mess on the code. Yeah, so this is something that I might look at as a reference, but you can't even know how is this going to look like at the end. All our products do have like some evolving stage until we reach something like like Beat Scholar or something, where everything like this, where eventually the product is well designed, and we have this like really nice organization of everything. But even to get to this took a while. Like, it's not like we got there immediately when we started to design. We had a bunch of different ideas and mock-ups and concepts about how everything's going to look, and then we end up with the pizza slices, and that's usually how things work with our product. Like there's let's call it an evolving stage of this. It's not like somebody sent a prototype and we're doing it as is. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, thank you very much, Miguel. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's have a look at where we are with the code. Feel free, by the way, to ask more questions. As you can see, I'm trying to, I'll try to post questions and comments on screen. Yeah. So the question is, will it work standalone or plugin to DAW? Both. It will be just like a lot of our products. It will be standalone and a plugin. So you could use this as something that creates MIDI for you on a track, but also you can use this as standalone. I really want to, in this particular product, I'm really hoping we can maybe develop the standalone capabilities, because it's such a. I'm hoping it's going to evolve into something that has a lot of value as a. Like a DAW-less compositional unit, but it will also should work within the environment of what you're used to. Yeah, so let's begin. Now that we have this, the thing I wanted to do today was, first of all, I wanted to fix a bug that has to do with the inputs. So I wanted to clean up the way the inputs into a function are organized. So here I have this class called the function graph. And what it has is a thing called function connections. This is where it gets interesting. So the problem that I ran into with previously, and I can probably show you the bug. The bug is still there. I did not fix it. So let's have a look. So in this previous early dev mockup, this is supposed to be adding inputs to the function. So you should be adding new inputs that will later connect externally to the next device or to some other device. But the problem is, well, first of all, the problem is it started with the letter D. This is not good. And I think you see now there's D, E, F. Then if I add this, whatever, something here, there's going to be a G. That doesn't make sense. It's a weird bug. Let's figure out why this happens. I believe this happens because when I create this, I created this idea. I wanted my idea was that everything here is going to be hosted on this thing called expression map. And there's in the function there's an expression map that shows the expressions. Expressions is something that returns a value, and a value, by the way, could be music, right? Could be something more higher level. But anyway, expressions is something that returns a value. But the inputs in this case, like the little, let's call them function inputs on top, those are kind of special because those are those should be exposed as expressions in this expression map, but they should not appear in this list, and they should not be connected to this thing. And I think I should be able to control it. Let's see where this is created. When I create, here it is. So when I created, let's see what exactly they used to create a new. I call them IOs, by the way, because they're actually both inputs and outputs. Right? What do I mean by that? They're, when you look at them from the function definition perspective, they are outputs because they feed into the rest of the function. However, when you look at them from the outside, they're inputs. So that's why I call them IO. But the problem is I need to find a way to make them not appear in the same thing as here. So here I have this thing called the body. Let's see when I'm creating something. Oh, here you go. I do create. That's probably, and am I calling create when I'm also calling the inputs? Let's see what I'm doing exactly. So I'm going to load the code, bring it up, and hit plus. No, this was not called. So let's see what was called. Let's walk through my UI and see exactly which function I called. So I'm going to go to my UI test app. Go to a thing called how did I call it? Input. Single input, that's not it. Block display, is that it? No. What do you call it? Fucking out language graph. Okay. Function inputs. I think that's it. So how am I creating them? There's a plus button somewhere. Here you go. Add input. Add input button. Okay, so this goes to connections, Ooh, I use this as a reference. That's not good. So first of all, it's probably not a good idea. Let's do something else. But before I do something else, actually, no, I think it's fine to get it as a reference. But I think, yeah. So I just went to connections and I hit create to create a new IO. Okay, so first of all, there's a function here. Oh, you know what? This might be okay. I think maybe the problem is just with the... No. That doesn't make sense. I think if this returns a create... Yeah, so this goes eventually here and literally goes to the map. And then it puts it here, puts in expressions. No, that's kind of weird. No. So I think what I need to do... I need to create another unique ID. That's probably what I need. So I need to... like currently there's a thing called generate unique ID, which is like a reusable function. I need to think of a way to make, because on one hand the name of this has to be unique. Like for example, let's say the user would give an input a name like A. It cannot be the name of anything else because there's some those names have to be unique within the function. However, I probably need a way to pass at least from a naming scheme, pass some different something initial. So at least this would be called input A or something. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try doing something like I want to have some maybe prefix or something, so that maybe const token prefix. So yeah, so I could do something like, so if the prefix is here, token ID. So I could just do something like token equals prefix, token new ID equals prefix, and then oh, but you know what? Let's read more about what I did here. Yeah, so maybe I'll just do something like prefix plus new ID, and then I would return the prefix plus new ID, something like that. Let's see if this is going to work. So generate unique ID, const token is just a string in this case. The only reason why I kept it using as a token and not something like std string, which is what it is because it's possible I might add, I might make it a PMR string, like something with a memory allocator, and then it's going to be difficult for me to change all the million use cases to this specific string. So let's call this prefix. I can even make it empty by default. And then what I would do in this case is say like prefix exists input. Let's see if this is gonna work. I have a warning here because of this stupid thing. I need to okay, and now plus. No, this didn't work correctly. Why? Do I pass the actual prefix in here? Yes. Okay, this is a good question here, actually. Francisco asks, hey Al, maybe this is off topic, but why are you using CLion? What's the advantage over VS Code? Okay. So the advantage is, okay, I'm planning to show this. the advantages of this versus VS Code are huge. Like, it's not one thing, it's a million advantages. How do I explain it? First of all, VS Code, by the way, I love VS Code, but for C++, it just doesn't cut it. Like, if I don't want to set up everything here, but if you'll open a C++ project in VS Code that isn't trivial, you'll see that VS Code can't really parse it correctly. It can't talk to the build system correctly. It's a very rudimentary experience for C++. Let's say it this way. But also, and I see Miguel mentions this in the chat as well, there's so many things. First of all, this thing is not just an editor. This thing knows a lot about what I'm doing. Just to give you an idea, right? Let's take a new C++ project, right? Just to get out of this for a second. So first of all, there's a lot of cool stuff like support out of the box for clean format and clean tidy and stuff like that. It's all this stuff kind of just works. But there's all these things that it gives you tips on what to do. Like, here's an example. I'm going to, let's say I have this. Let's say I have a vector of something, including vector, and I have a stud vector of int vec, and include, right? So let's say I want to do something with that vector, right? I want to do something like for, let's write this old version of the loop. Let's say I do something like int I equals 0, right? I wanted than vec size plus I, and then do something like vec I know, make it to 2. Now look at this. You see this yellow line? It analyzed my code and it suggested I can modernize it. It says, hey, you can use a range-based loop, which is much nicer, right? So it immediately helped me to improve my code. I can, extract this into a function. I can just hit, go to the menu here. I have a shortcut for this too, and just do, refactor this, right? Extract method. Make this a function automatically. It's going to extract the function, find out what's needed for the function, right, and call the function. If I have, classes, like it can move stuff from the H to the CPP. Let's say there's a virtual class, right? Let's say there's a virtual method here, struct base, right? Virtual base equals default, right? Let's say I have this. I don't know why the code style is using this because I don't have clang format now. Okay, so let's say I had something like a virtual function here, virtual void do something, right? Now, let's say in some other file, just for fun, I'm going to put this in another file. Let's call it like library. This is some library code. Let's say this is not in my code. This is here, right? This base class is somewhere. Now I'm here, including base, include base or library, whatever I called it, library. Okay, now let's say I'm in my code. I've just included some libraries, and I want to say something like, "Hey, I want to have a derived class inherits from base. I wonder what virtual methods exist that I need to implement. Oh, no problem. Control O. See, here's the list. I click it, it will implement them for me. If I had a CPP file, it's gonna put that in a CPP file already. So it's just like such a productivity boost compared to anything, because it detects potential problems in your code. It gives you suggestions about really obvious things and about non-obvious things. It gives you ideas about modernizing your code to the language. Like if I will do something like auto x equals new int, you see it's going to notice that allocate memory is leaked. Like it noticed a memory leak in here. Like there's so much that I think are just critical in a code base. In a big code base that just like you don't have them in something like VS Code. And having that said, I love VS Code. You see me use it on the stream all the time. I use it I mean, I will sometimes use it to browse C++ code bases, but I will use it for basically, I don't know. I will use it for so much. And so I'm not going to do this VS Code because it's awesome. Yeah, so this is the CL. And by the way, there's other things that are more to do, not with the code, but with the build system. Like, for example, when I write CMake, I have good completion with CMake. And also, I have these like really nice environment settings. It can read the variables in my in my run configuration. I can go here and go to my go here to where is that here, right? I can go here and just add a lot of different configurations, but then I'll say I want to know stuff about the cache variables. It's going to give me all the cache variables. Here it is, cache. It's like, right, so it's going to tell me what they are, so I don't have to look for them. So much. It's like the advantages. The Git integration is phenomenal, in my opinion. Like how the way you look at this, not here in this tiny project, but in general. Yeah. I think in general it's just such a better experience from using VS Code. So this was my rant about. So Miguel asks, have you tried AI Assistant? Yes, and I didn't think it was good. I thought that it felt like a very low level LLM, and I'm getting much better results with Gemini. Gemini is my favorite recently, but ChatGPT, of course. I don't know. I felt like JetBrains didn't do a good job with it. I've heard that GitHub Pilot is very good, but I've not tried it. So this is not my. I've seen people use it, but I've not tried it on my code bases, so I have no idea. Okay, this is my rant so far. Thank you, by the way, everyone, for sticking around, watching. So let's talk about what it is that I really wanted to do. Why am I here? What am I doing? Okay, I want to get some progress and see if I can, first of all, identify what it is that I did wrong with this letters identifier thing. So, where was I? Graph. This code is such a mess, by the way, because you can see, especially the UI, especially because I was just prototyping it so fast. This whole code was written in the last few days, so a lot of this is just like to put something on screen, but it's horrible. Don't write code like this. Okay, so line graph, then function inputs. Is that it? Yeah. So add input, and this calls create. So let's see why. Oh, you know what? I was already checking this. I think I need to check exactly why it didn't do what it was supposed to do. Let's see why not. Just hitting plus here. This looks correct. This goes in. So it's search for it to exist, but then added something. So this says it did exist. That's kind of weird. How did it exist if it had the prefix in it? Prefix did say inputs. Maybe I'm not doing the check correctly. Let's see, why did I screw up there? So the check. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like the names are actually correct, but then still showed. Maybe I'm not. Something weird is going on here. What am I showing here? What's the? Is this still gonna fail? Yes. So I think maybe there's something else here beyond name. Maybe I double tagged or something. What did I do there? So connections. What am I showing here? Function inputs. Expression dot name. Right? think that's correct. I'm passing a reference here, which I probably shouldn't, especially since I've worked so hard to not do that. So Miguel says, it seems you're prefixing just to test, but you're not setting. That might be correct. I thought I did. I mean, this thing should be passing the name, right? Let's see exactly what gets passed on creation. So I click plus. The name is input E. Okay. And it doesn't look like I'm calling create on the map with this name. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm overriding this. This is the problem. I'm overriding this name with my own name. So I think, yeah. So I was trying to be smart and reuse the function, but this isn't really correct. Yeah, and also, let's think about this. Yeah. I need to go. I need to make sure that the map itself, if I'm recalling the map create function, what I probably need to do is I need to first check. Do I have the name by now? Or have I passed any kind of name to this? No, I literally didn't. So I need to do things in the opposite order or something. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Miguel, for watching, and thank you for tuning in. And I will be trying to stream in different hours as well. So hopefully it will be better. Connection name, think. Okay, I see what happens here. This name is not this name. This is a different name. There is a name for the input, which is one thing. And there is this identifier. Yeah, those are two separate things. This name that he created is like is actually more like a descriptive name. I think this is what it was meant to be doing. It should not have been the. Yeah. Yeah, because I think IO itself is looking for a name. How am I gonna do this? Because I needed some name to hold this in the map. There's this little map of inputs, but I'm wondering. I don't think I need this name, right? Because this is almost like a singular expression. I don't think it even needs this name. I think this will just be fine with the name that was there before. So I don't need to reuse the name concept. I think that this can just be called something like function input or something, or Yeah, but maybe this could even be empty. Let's have a look at what this is going to. I'll give it some name just so that I'll see if it shows up, if it's used somewhere. Function inputs or something. Although maybe if it's empty I can use this, but I'll use this for now. So function input, and then in here I don't need to pass the name. But I do need maybe to pass the prefix in here instead of calling it directly or something. How am I going to do this? Yeah, because I probably don't even need to check. If the map is going to check that it exists, I don't need to check again that it exists. It's kind of weird. Let's not do that. Let's not even do that. Let's let it. Yeah, it checks against something that's kind of weird. Let's just check against the map, but give it this thing. Let's just create this. But sorry, return map, create this. But let's maybe pass this argument somehow. How am I going to do this with this variadic template? So I really need to put this in the first thing, but then I will lose this, and I'll lose this generic way of using create. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to create, and let's have another create that says create prefixed, and this will take the prefix. Token prefix as the first argument. I think it has to be the first argument for the variadic template to work. Let's implement this, and then this would actually be, this would probably be the real implementation. So it would probably just be this, same thing, but this bottom implementation, this would be exists prefix. And this would just call return create t with an empty thing, and then, or this, and then stood forward args. Yeah, and then create tea. I was literally just drinking tea, and I guess that moved itself into my code. Love tea. Tea's great. Where were we? Now I need to go to these inputs. Fucking graph, that's it, right? Okay, so this would just have wait, what's going on here? No. Oh, wait, this is fine. This is good. What do I need to do? Where are my... Where was I? Any flavor suggestion for a successful coding session? I have no idea. My latest and greatest is apple cinnamon. This is my current favorite. I do have to say that, you know, I won't do it now because it's a little too late, but usually I would have something like a chai latte. So it's a tea with some coffee in it, usually, or some caffeine in it. So that's maybe that's a better suggestion if you wanna stay awake and active. Where were we? Oh yeah, okay. So I need to pass the prefix here. Create prefixed t with input space. And I think I made this like a default constructor, right? So I don't need this anymore. I fixed it. Or maybe I removed the constructor by chance. Yeah, so I think I still need to do. A lot of complexity comes because this is a typed language. You know, my first prototypes were not typed. Like they were more like JavaScript. We could just pass anything into anything. But I felt like the user experience of that was really bad. And I think it's much nicer when we have types, even in visual programming languages. Like it just makes it so clear what is the purpose of what you're doing. I even had my original concept had stuff like variables and you know, all kinds of like statefulness stuff. But then I realized that doing it as a functional language makes it much clearer. Like with there's never any statefulness to the functions, and there's only one output, one return value of the function. There's no multiples, which is something that in modular synth became really complicated because you had 5 outputs going out of a function. What did I miss? Oh, maybe I need to do like this create or something. I never forget these weird C++ rules. Chai latte, even though a lot of times it's just sugar with trace amount of spice, caffeine, and milk. Yes, that's true. That is true. I do have to say that the one that I got does not. I got this thing that like you can put it in a coffee machine. It doesn't have that much sugar, but it, you know. So I just can't get used to functional programming after knowing object-oriented. You know, I'm not an expert in functional programming, so I agree with you. I'm also coming from an object-oriented, you know, background. But I do feel like functional, at least on the, you know, at least on the high-level aspect of it, can do really nice things. Like I don't know if I can. When I look at Haskell code, like to me, it doesn't look readable. To me, it looks just horrible. I don't know how people feel about that, but I feel that oh, this is create prefix, part of this. But I think that functional. I don't know if functional programming would be or could be. Wait, what's wrong here? Base type int. What's going on? Am I too tired? Oh, create prefix input, right? And args are none, right? So this should be okay. Oh, it's not t, it's IO of t. That's why I was not paying attention. IO of t. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I think functional programming has a lot of values as a concept. Because, you know, functional gives you a lot of really nice guarantees. No, it just doesn't give me anything. That's great. Great. It just doesn't do anything. Perfect. Okay, plus comes in. Oh, but I also need to add this in the inputs, right? On the do I still have this thing? Function inputs? What do I call this? Yeah, so I think, functional programming is just nice in the sense that you get an area of your code that's stateless. And I think it really helps, first of all, when you want to do stuff like multi-threading. It's so easy that you have pure functions. And also when you want to do, want to kind of compose functions in a really nice way. Like, for example, this something dot filter dot, transform dot this. It's really nice to be able to chain these together as one operation, because some of these are very obvious. I think with some things, functional programming, I feel like many times just like an intellectual challenge, right? It's more like a riddle. Like, hey, can you make this thing be a chain of unreadable statements, and it won't make really any sense. But I think with if you do straightforward things with it, I think it can be really, really nice and expressive. And that's, by the way, why I chose it for this thing, the functional model, because I love the idea that first of all, I love the idea that it's a high-level language, so you don't really need to, you don't need to start building a list yourself, which is really difficult. Sometimes if you want to say, hey, let's make a list from 3 things and then chain it to this, like all this stuff in functional programming, I feel like is very awkward. But you get the high-level aspect of it, because you can do stuff like, create a function that transforms music, right? In our case, but pass it another function that would, kind of influence the way this works. So I have another function that will only come into the third repeat of a piece of music. So it's, I feel like there's a lot of value in functional. Even if I'm not into doing, writing a plugin in a functional programming way or something. Yeah. So where was I was trying to figure out what it is that I screwed up. I screwed up something, and I think this is getting cold. I'm getting too tired. I felt great when I started the stream, then I realized that slowly I might be losing it. Hopefully it's not true. Yeah, so other things do not go in here, but where is... Oh, you know what? Maybe just the UI is wrong. Maybe just the UI is not listening to the right thing. Yeah, because I think if this is... Yeah, so I think I might start giving a broadcaster to everything in this structure. The thing what I might do is I might say that I have this thing called events has broadcaster, which is just a bit of a quick connection to a broadcaster. I might just go to expression, which is pretty much the base class for all of these, and just make it be a broadcaster, basically. Include EA events. Yeah, so maybe the way this should maybe help me to this might break a few things, but but this is not an expression, so this doesn't even matter. Hold on. Let's wait that. I think I need to just do something that will notify the UI that something has changed. But for a start, I guess what I could do might be even simpler. where am I storing this when I'm creating this? I think I'm just creating it on the map. Doesn't make sense. I need to be also creating this in some other place. Oh, you know what? I think this is just where I got in my I just trying to remember the backtrack kind of a day ago. I think what happened was not expression method, function connections. I think this is fine. Create the name. What's this function? Create with the name. Why do I need the name? This one is confusing. Why is it here? Is this called? Expression connect input. Okay, yeah, so I think this is weird. This should be here. This is not needed. Create prefix. None of this is needed. I have no idea why is this overload ever needed. Oh, I needed some name. Connect. Yeah, so now I should know the name after I created it, so it should be just an input name. Okay. So this is after the unique ID was assigned. So now there should be already a correct name. And there you go. These are better names. And let's see if they show up. No. So, oh, okay. They do show up. They're just integers, right? So they don't show up on this list on music because this is another type. I need to start color coding this. So there's a question. Sorry for the off topic, but I'm interested, especially because it's also in the background. How do you generally feel about AI music? What do you call AI music? Is Suno is AI music? What is AI music? Right? There's quite a lot of AI music now. Is Logic's studio musician thing AI music? Like what do we define as AI music? Okay, Suno. I think it's something that's quite awesome, but also as a musician, I'm not so interested in it. I'm more interested in it from the idea of research about AI in the world. If this makes sense. As a musician, I don't care about this because people, I don't know how to explain it. People think that musicians are in the business of creating finished wave files. And this is not the business that we're in and have never been in. Think about this. Most musicians in the world, have never recorded anything. Never. Most musicians never record. Most musicians perform and they'll record sketches to help them with their performance. Or, most musicians don't record professional tracks. It's not something they want to do. Most musicians are playing covers, right? Most in the world are not performing with their own music. If you're a classical musician, you're not writing your own songs. You're not recording. You're not in the studio. You're on stage playing music by German composers from 300 years ago, right? If if you're I feel like this kind of a thing is is super interesting. Like the result is fascinating. Like it's such a fascinating experience to talk to this and see what it does and everything. But I feel like that it's not really the experience of a musician, if you know what I mean. So I'm cool that it happens, but it's also very different from what I imagine is music. if you know what I mean, or being a musician. My experience of being a musician is not to make finished tracks. I mean, I did make finished tracks. I did mix people's songs or produce my songs, or that happened. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I want to produce. Yeah, I would say this. My role of being a musician is mostly about thinking and planning and preparing and practicing for this thing that might be sometime be produced, right? This is really what being a musician is like, I think. And the thing where you type in music and you get a finished result, it's cool, right? It's cool music, but it's not like that thing did not exist before. Like you could get, like, for example, you could, and this is talking about like 10 years ago, not now, you could go to some library of music and get a finished music, and you can choose. You'll have a list of styles and you can choose the music. Or you can call somebody who was like a commercial music writer, right? Somebody who's like and you can tell them, hey, look, I like this style. Can you make me this style? And some people could just do that. Some people would just, I know people who work in the advertising industry, and they would just like every day would just copy other people's styles and make stuff. So those things existed. I mean, I guess I understand that there's some financial aspect now. So now people who make ads will not pay those people. And I'm like, okay, who cares? Who cares about those people? Those people were not, I mean, some of these people are friends of mine, so I don't want to say who cares about them, but I just want to say that, like, who cares about that profession as a whole? I care more about art, right? And I think art is not so much about a finished wave file. You know, artists are about the process, about creating some continuity and some story and discovery and stuff. So I think those stuff really are not answered in a finished wave file. If it makes sense. So the comment is, I think it is absolutely amazing for inspiration, but I'm a little worried about the commercial aspects of just pumping out the fully generated song and selling it as human made. Yeah, this is going to be a big issue in the next few years, anytime next, right? I think that there's going to be a big challenge for somebody who creates something to battle against the immediate nature of the AI. And yeah, I don't know what it's going to do to like the business of music, you know, like the business of music is very different anyway. You know, it's not, by the way, just to be clear, let's talk about the business of music, right? 99.99999% whatever of people who are on Spotify don't make any money with it. Any money that's not, you know, beyond $50 a month or something, you know? So it's not like before AI, musicians were like, like so many musicians were selling their music, their recorded music on Spotify, and they were making so much money. No, not really. They were making pennies, and the good ones were using the Spotify to promote their live shows, and they were making money off the live shows, right? So, you know, I'm not 100% convinced that how much it actually hurts the music business. It's gonna change the music business, especially the side that talks about, you know, licensing music for streams or commercials. But that thing was already changed before. Before that, like because of library music and other kinds of solutions like that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm too tired to think about it. Yes, Francisco says, I made like $100 in 2 years or so on Spotify. Yeah, you know, these are the numbers that everyone makes, you know? Like, it's not like, even if you take musicians that make a lot of money playing live, they don't make that money from Spotify, you know? Like, even musicians that have, you know, that will sell out venues, right? It's very difficult to make money from Spotify. Or whatever it is, like it was the same way with iTunes before. Like it's the same. It's not like you made more money by selling on iTunes. You know, this has been a thing since quite a long time. I mean, I'm sure Taylor Swift makes money, but except for the very few artists that have such a huge, huge spread, and those artists, by the way, are usually celebrities, right? So usually they make a lot of money by doing appearances and live shows, and like a lot of these people are way beyond the waveform of they are, right? The people who make a lot of money. So I think that's also something to notice, where that these are people that we look at, and most people don't even get to the threshold before AI, right? So I'm like, what are you going to do? Cut off my Spotify royalties? Sure, cut them off. There's nothing in there. Okay. This information I did not have before. I can only imagine how tough this business already is now without AI. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. The business of recorded music is, not great for a long time. AI is going to hurt some people. I don't know if most people that it's yeah, I don't know. It's gonna change things. I think what's likely is gonna happen, in my opinion, just because that's how it's always happened, is that as a result of the new tools that come out, people are gonna make things that are incredible, that are human made, and then the AI again will catch up and try to copy that, because AI can really just copy. AI can only mix and match things that are already in its training set. It can't really do something that's unique, and humans can notice that better and make a better result of this using the AI tools, right? So that's why. Yeah. Okay. So I wanna see if I can make at least one last push for today's to get a bit more results. So what I did was I think my inputs did show up now. This is good. So that's I would commit this and say, fixed input creation. So that's already much better. Yeah, let's do a few little things that I just think are needed, just so that I will. So first of all, let's have some control over this input so that we can delete it or change the name or something. So this whole stuff is in the UI. Do I have remove here already in these function connections? Erase. Okay, that's good. But expression, that's not good. No. Expression. Ooh, there's all these expression references. I don't want to do that. I want to use this new pointer. So let's start changing everything. So let's do this is going to be expression pointer. Just a reminder, this expression pointer, even though it's called a pointer, it's actually a smarter pointer that has some connection to the map. So the idea is that when you use this, this is using some combination of a weak pointer internally, and this helps me always be connected to the map that created this. So it helps me with serializing, it helps me with kind of maintaining a set of connection, which was more difficult when I just passed in references. So remove, okay. This would just be an arrow. Disconnect, that's fine. Yeah, so this kind of assumes, maybe it's fine. This kind of assumes that, wait, why am I removing this by name? Oh, because it's like just a generic thing. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Yeah. I think that's okay. I didn't change much, just change the interface a little bit. But now let's do something more. Let's need more. First of all, there's like 7 million classes in this file. let's at least add. I don't know if I want to add CPP files yet, but at least headers, something. So I have something called blocks. What's the other one? Blocks. Function input. So let's do that. This is block plus block display. You have a ton of keybinds. You can also set up your... Oh, let's see. Those are the question I missed. Do you have any keyboard bindings like Vim or Emacs and CLion? Vim user here. Yeah, first of all, I think Vim has a... I think CLion has a Vim mode. I didn't test to see how it compares to something like NeoVim or whatever, something more elaborate. But there's just a Vim straight up mode where you can edit like Vim. I'm not a Vim expert, so don't quiz me on how good it is. And yeah, there's like regular key bindings and so my favorite is double control, which gives you multiple carrots. Let's see, double command. So how do you use that? Like, do I just double tap? Right? I know what to do. Do I double tap and then go down to get the multiple carrot? Do I have another carrot here? What just happened here? What is this? Pull tap, then hold down and up, down arrows. Okay. I don't think that worked. Because double control gives me the command, maybe double alt. No. Double command doesn't. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Okay. Where was I? So I move this here. I can input. So I just moved a few things around so they're in different files. Still have too many things in the same file, but better. Better to read a 60-line file than 200 or whatever it is that I had here before. Okay, that's better. This compiles. Let's do something like code cleanup. I didn't do much beyond that. Okay. Now, function inputs. So I wanted to look at something like the actual here it is, the actual input itself. Okay, so apparently on macOS it's a key. There's a weird symbol on it, like a lambda character. Which one are we talking about? Weird key. Shift, Alt. I don't know. Oh, here it is. It's Alt. Okay, so it's Alt. Alt has a symbol. Here it is. Now I have the double carets, right? I don't know how to work with double caret. How do you do that? Double Alt. Wait, I just got it. How do I get it again? Here it is. So it kind of it's so weird. What happens when I do that? I don't know how to control it. Can I do double Alt and this and drag? So confusing. I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you hold it after second press, you can add as many as you want by the arrow keys. Yeah, I have arrow keys, so add as many. So second press, then hold down. Not sure I'm doing the right thing. Oh, okay. Here's what. Okay, so you hold the second Alt. So it's not. Here it is. So now I feel like I'm in a snake game. Wait, and now he's gonna type it all over the place. Oh, honestly that's useful. I'm probably gonna be using this. So I can go here, right? And yeah. Okay. Wow, this is so trippy. I've never used it. This is so trippy. I'm happy that it exists though. Yeah, I can see the use cases of this though. Yeah, especially when you have, want to add the same thing to multiple lines in the middle or something. Which is, by the way, something that Vim is very good at. But I never learned these nice mechanics. Okay. What else? What else did I want to do before I'm falling asleep here? I wanted to. Okay, so I wanted the actual. Okay, so function input. Now it's just a text display. First of all, something that I have to do, and I have to do like 50 places here, but I want to create. I don't know why I don't have this already, but oh, you know what? Instead of just doing it a resizing text display, I can just use it. I just make it be a text button. And text button in this case is taking a lambda for the click, which is exactly what I needed. So what I needed, I want to create a little menu here. So this needs to be something like a drop-down menu holder. And then let's call it. Let's do something like pop-up menu. Choose pop-up menu. Get menu. Then add item with. Let's do delete. That's the first one I want to add. So delete. We'll do. oh, for delete, I actually need more things. So I need not just this, but I need the list of inputs. I need the connections. Connections to use. Is this good enough? Can I remove from here? Or do I need to remove from other places? No, this is fine. This knows about the map. This should be able to remove it just as it is. Okay. So I should be able to do should be able to just store this somewhere. Call it connections? Sorry, I call it connections. Yeah, connections to use. And okay, and then this is the connections. Something about an erase connection. And I think now is the time where I need to do this not as something better. So I probably need to make this a expression pointer. Dee-da-pa-dum. This should be okay for now. Okay, return menu. And then what the button would do is do drop down, show, get menu. Yes, this is how I created the mouse click. Should work. And then it should be probably cons, right? Yeah. So resize. Okay, now I need to pass it the right type of thing, which I did not yet. So let's pass. See if I got it. I just want to create a pop-up menu for each one of these inputs so that I can, for example, remove it. Probably the next thing would be to rename it. So what's connections? Connections is so it's, I have to get the connections too. Probably a good time to do this now because it needs to be more readable. How's everyone doing, by the way? How's your how late is it where you are, or early? There you go. So this is my the way I erased these, right? Oop, look at this. Stop deleting. It probably didn't stop deleting, by the way. It probably just some very bad screw up. Why is it not deleting after the first one? Right, because I should be rebuilding whenever I'm deleting. Should be rebuilding the UI. Let's see if it actually does that. So when I click this, this should rebuild the UI, and it does seem to work. Now I remove this one. Yep. Okay. All other ones didn't do anything. Interesting. I hope I didn't invalidate some pointer here or something. Huh. In San Diego, 529 at work, debugging firmware stuff. That's awesome. San Diego, that sounds like a fun place. I've never been there. I really want to go there. The word is that it's got much better tacos than LA. Is that true? How are the San Diego tacos? I don't know. I prefer them in Mexico. Yes, I believe the consensus is that Mexican food is better in Mexico. But you know. So, is it common practice to build UI as you build the backend? I don't really have GUI writing experience. Okay, this is, you know what? This is actually a really good question. And it's actually something we talk about often. I would say the general answer is yes. The reason is, my feeling is that, at least for products that I've worked on, usually products I've worked on are iterative. Like, it's, you could say that it might be more correct to say, hey, here's a finished backend and here's the UI. But I feel like it's a difficult. If you did it this way, then people who are like think if you have people collaborating with you that are not programmers, they would have a hard time like knowing what happens. Like because like let's say you spend a couple of months doing the backend, they have nothing they can use. Right? What are they going to do? Like they're not going to run your unit tests or whatever. They don't know what it is you're doing. So, so there has to be a way for people to actually use and experience the product. I think pretty early on. Also, some of the things that you would find is that, and I find that right now, is that the UI actually influences a lot of the backend design, because a lot of the backend design is to offer flexibility for UI features, right? Like a lot of times, like, okay, what kind? A lot of the times, a lot of our feature requests that we have in our products come from or designing something and say, hey, I want to do this, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that means exposing a function in the API or having some data structure that can communicate its state for the UI, or can change. Like, you have to take a lot of that into consideration. I think we're probably spending way more time doing things that are related to UI than anything else. UI is so important, in my opinion. Yeah. I hope it explains it. So it's I do spend a lot of time doing independent backend. And probably you've seen me, like, when I test this, I have two projects. I have one that's a console app and one that's a UI app, and I'm using both of them to run tests. Later, I will have, probably a plugin that just makes audio and has some parameters, right? Stuff like that are, let's call them backend-ish. But I think once UI goes into the question, that's really when I think the complicated development happens. On the backend side as well. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. So I want to find what happened there that's made that my app did not erase anything after the first one. So is my update getting called? Let's see. No. So something weird is going on here. I'm calling erase, right? Let's see if I'm actually calling erase. Okay, this is the call to get the menu, and then I can just actually stop by in the erase call. Here it is. else here? It's empty. Oh, wait. Wait. That's weird. I'm going for the expression inputs, but these are already... This is weird. I don't need to do this. Yeah, this is weird. I don't think I need this whole thing. Oh, I did it because there could be no inputs there, but why would there be no inputs? How does that make sense? Like, how can one of these expressions have no inputs? Let's see, how could this be a thing? So I will add a bunch of these, and then I will delete one. Okay, this had one input. Expression inputs container, it's fine. Hey, how is this possible? What's this targets? Let's see what it is. So I have it up. I think the problem is I'm not. I think the problem is I need to register. Oh wait, it doesn't have an input. There it is. I can see it. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. Which expression did I pass to this? Let's go back. Target. Oh, wait. Not expression. Not expression. Target. Okay, this is why it was weird. Okay, that makes sense. That really explains it. Let's see where we are. So now I can add things. 2, 3. Let's delete this. Good. Now, by the way, if I add this, this should add B. No? Aww. That means that it didn't get deleted completely. Because, there you go. Crash. I knew it's going to happen. Yeah, but this, it looks like somehow B, input B is still in the system. It was not fully deleted from wherever it was because the naming scheme thing still finds it. B, right? Yeah. B is still in the system. Let's see how did B manage to remain in the system. When I created it, I created this thing on the map. And when I removed it, you would think that this should have done it, but I think this didn't actually remove it. Let's see why. So I got here. Wait, how did it know the index? Oh, this still uses this expression thing. This is kind of weird. This could be a problem. Yeah, let's fix it. Let's not use expression. Let's use my beautiful expression pointer instead. And by the way, I think I don't even need to implement this function now because I think get index should just be the plain old. Yeah. I mean, I can still have this implementation actually, but it should be with this, and it should just remove return map get index off. I think I should still have that, right? Yeah, I think this is gonna work. Get index off E. It's a nice thing about having my own kind of my own vector and my own map classes that I have all these like utility functions that I think are so missing from the standard one. Oh, this needs to be um, lock. Lock is something in the weak pointer that kind of gives it a share pointer temporarily. Okay, this is better. Delete. Ooh. Okay, now that's good. It crashed because it actually got deleted. Okay, I love it. I love it. That proves that I had a bug before where I actually the map should be the owner of the thing. I should first remove it from all these instances and then remove the thing. That proved how bad my bug was in the previous iteration. So I'm here. A, B, C. Remove B. This should add B. Yay! They add B. Here's C. Here's E. Remove E. Now E should be available as an option. Perfect. Okay. I'm very happy about this. So let's do something like by the way, here we go. Here's something that without the UI I would never have found this out, right? Because it looks like it works, but it doesn't. So fixed function connections removal. Yeah, there's also something I need to think about, in a sense that because I've used a weak pointer, that means that if I destroy the main owner or the owners that are shared pointers, that means that the other reference to this thing can know that it was destroyed. Like they can ask, hey, are you still valid? That's good. But I also will need a way probably very soon to collect references so that if I delete the owner, because I don't want to just know that this reference is null. I want to go through all these references and delete them so that the UI objects, for example, can update correctly and stuff like that. So I think that currently I've done it as a part of the same action because it was easy, but I think in later situations where these calls would be all over the place, right? The owner and the reference would be in separate objects. I would need some way to kind of clean it up. Like you would delete this reference, I would go in and kind of search for everything and make it all somehow work itself. And by the way, I probably need to warn the user. Like let's say the user deletes a function and there are function calls to that function. I should probably warn the user, hey, there are reference to this thing. Are you sure you want to delete this? And then they delete it and everything goes away. Yes, this is pretty good. Maybe I can add. Let's do one last thing until before I collapse. So let's. Oh, that's funny. Till I collapse. It's a great black metal song. Till I collapse. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I'm sorry. Okay. So let me go back to my little UI part for a second. Okay, let's add one more thing to the menu here, which is rename. Rename is more difficult than you think because I actually need to show up a text box there or something, right? So I'm going to select rename. How am I going to do this? Let's do pop-up container. How do I usually do this? I usually do something like a pop-up container. Yeah, that should work, I think. So I have something I have some things in our library for pop-ups and stuff like that. So I probably should be able to do something like pop-up of. I think let's create it in a way that makes sense. Let's create a component. It's called renamer or something. Widget. I'll make it as simple as I can. It's gonna take this thing, the expression. Yeah, right? Yeah, so it's gonna take something like this. DSP expression pointer expression. This is the thing that needs to change the name to, and it would also take something like a function that said that it completed. I think that would be nice, right? Yeah, I think that would be good. So something like a callback func. Callback func is a stood function of void with some wrapping. So the question is, are widgets what components are in Juice? Widgets are our components. Like if you look at widget inherits from component. So nothing so magical about this thing. But widget adds just a bunch of patterns that we found are super common. Some of them are just helper functions, like the fact that I can do add children and add 5 children here, not just 1. Some of them are more substantial, that have to do with partial scaling. When you want, relative scaling when you want to scale but add a transform, so it does all this stuff automatically. There's other things that has to do with I don't know if you've seen some streams we've done in the past, but we have the system where Orc can actually change values and colors and stuff at runtime from like a JSON file without compiling. So those are built into the widget. So it's got a bunch of our methods kind of built into to it. So it's more, let's call it a higher level version of components. So, but it's really a component. So callback function, this would be something like end callback or something. And there would also needs to be something like a text editor here, and also a label. How do I call my default? It's like custom label. I forgot how to call it, custom label. So the label is going to be something like enter new name. The text is just this is just the actual editor where you edit the text. It's going to look pretty ugly because I'm not gonna customize it much, but so I take this renamer. It's going to take DSP expression pointer expression use. But it also need the callback func and callback. To use. Okay. The question is, I always wondered why Juice doesn't have things like padding and margin options. I always implement that myself and border stuff. Yeah, I think that my opinion is Juice in general is awesome, but that it's not such a high level library. It's good to solve low level problems, and I think the high level stuff that they did, I feel like have not really answered needs of people who make products. I feel like they're more of kind of like library, let's call it library things written on top of the library. And yeah, you really need to implement those stuff yourself, but just gives you a lot of the building blocks to do that. So it is nice, like the fact that you can have you have all the rectangle functions, you have that, so it's not that difficult to do that yourself. Okay, I gotta finish this before I collapse. Well, I initialized everything. I'm gonna do a children label text. Here's an example for a few things I'm going to do now that are for some reason are not in juice, right? First of all, add children for multiple things. My resized is going to look like this. Scaling, sorry, it's called resize vertically, or resize all vertically. This, like, they're functions that I wish juice had, right? Just something like that, right? Like I don't need to. I don't want to write. I don't want to manually scale them. Just scale them for me, right? Stuff like that. What else I want to do? Callback, blah, blah, blah. And now I need to do. I think with the editor I should have. Let's just add a button just because I'm too lazy. Let's just add a button. It says. It says just let's do text button. End or something. I'm too lazy to actually do proper design here, but and it's gonna take done and the end callback. I can pass a function here, right? Yeah, I should be able to pass a end callback here. Good. And let's see what else I want to. So I have enter new name, text, and the end, and I can probably do with the just for fun because the text has like enter. I have something like on enter here, right? On return key equals and callback. Okay, this should work, I believe. Right, I put it in, I put it on the screen. Good. So I made this text renamer thing with show me the text, edit the text. This is the entire code. When you finish, call the callback. So then in my function input, I added this thing called, I want to add this thing called a pop-up. Pop-up of the renamer. This would be the pop-up. Let's see if I remember. I need to remember the exact syntax we have for the pop-ups, but it's something like this. And then how do I initialize it? Yeah, so it's something like create, right? And also have this destroy. Is that what it is? Yeah. Right. So it's create, destroy. Right. Yeah. So I think that's what I need to do. So I think that if you hit rename, let's properly write this rename function. When you let's say you go into the pop-up menu and select rename, you're not going to erase, obviously. You're going to do something more proper. What you are going to do is pop-up dot. Let me write a proper function. Let's go something like void rename, because this would have a bit of code in it. Rename. Const. I probably can make it constant. Okay, and what this is going to do, this is going to first of all create an end callback. So the end callback is going to look like this. When the text editor when the user finishes editing the text, I'm going to update the text label for now. I can probably do it better, but let's start with this. Name dot set text. Let's expression name, just an update to the text, then it's going to destroy the pop-up. I think these are the two things I need to do at the end. Now let's create the pop-up. Create window, create window. And it takes the expression, right? The expression and the callback. So the expression and the end callback. And it's labeled text end. Okay, what else? I think that's it, right? Let's see if this. Oh, the one thing is the way pop-ups work in our system is pop-ups are always attached to a specific component on it. Oh, and that means I also need to scale this. This is interesting. So the way we're doing with pop-ups, I need to do two things. First, I need to go way up to the top component, way up, and make sure that the top component inherits from pop-up container, because I don't want it to just randomly be on top of anything. I want it to be on top of the main component. And then I think what I need to do is in my resize function, I do scale to fit, or not scale to fit, sorry. I do scale pop-up, but this is now going to be relative to the main component where it's attached to. I think that's what how I design it, right? I think it's something like, let's make it be 30% of the top or something, you know, whatever. I'm gonna give it some measurements. I believe this is gonna work. Oh, and I also need to add the pop-up. No, I forgot how I deal with the pop-up. Let's see if this works. Oh, what's missing for the pop-up? Might need the parent, might need this. Okay. What did I forget? Is this wrong? Oh. Resize vertically, not resize all vertically. Okay. Okay. So I did this. Now I want to rename it. Ooh, I forgot something. What did I forget? I forgot something about this, the pop-up flow. Let's see how we use the pop-up in some other product, because they're just blocking out pop-up. Okay, so we're setting the pop-up out of date, and then how is it called? Pop-up update. Okay, so I think we have to add it. Yeah, I think we have to, because this is not really the pop-up. This is just a container that brings the pop-up up. So I think we still have to do add children pop-up. The pattern here is that I believe that I'm keeping some kind of like, let's call it a fake component in the hierarchy, but then when it needs to show something, like the renamer, here it is, you see? It goes back on top, darkens everything below it. That's the default behavior. So that means I probably need to add a background for this to look good. So let's also add it's also the background somehow. So let's do something like I can probably just paint behind it for simplicity. Right. Fill all. Fill default. This. Okay. Got the program, rename. Okay, now I see it brought up this window for rename. Let's do new name. It did not update to the new name. What did I forget in terms of the updating? Oh, that's silly because I need to take this text. I can't just do that. I actually have to change. Yeah, so I think my end callback has to first save the name. So the renamer has the text, has this, and the real end callback, and not the one that I've actually used, should be like on end, which is expression name equals text get text, right, and then call the end callback. So this is really on end. This is really the end. So instead of triggering the end callback, I'm going to trigger this, and same with this. So I'm going to attach first of all, I'm going to call my callback. It's going to save the name. Then I'm going to it's no, just to string. I don't know if I like these AI songs. I have no idea. Rename, new name. Hey, look at this new name. Now I'm actually not doing this correctly because I need to do some. This is a fun bug. Old name. So I'm updating this, but when I'm hitting plus here, let's just erase the previous name. What? How did it do that? Okay, deleting is fine. When I hit plus here, what? How did that happen? Oh, that's a weird bug. Well, I don't know if I'm too tired to solve this bug right now. Maybe I'm just I know, just the time to do that. To stop coding. All right, yeah. So yeah, so I think I might be just getting too tired. So I'm just going to commit this part and say something like added basic renamer for the inputs. Yeah, and I think that this would be tomorrow I'm gonna look at it again and start to add way more features, I think. Yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed this one. This was I've streamed for like 10 hours today. It was actually a lot of fun. I'm really happy that I did that. I think I'm going to, if everything works out, I'll come back tomorrow and do maybe something as long even. We'll see. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. And have a good day, good night, good evening, good morning. Bye.